So Ethereum has just broken its all-time high, and it's probably about to enter into price discovery mode. So I'll make this really quick video to update you all about this, why this is such a huge deal, and what you need to watch out for next. So I'm going to be talking about this as a blockchain developer who works with the Ethereum protocol on a daily basis, and also an Ethereum investor who's been watching this space every single day for the past 3 years plus, all right? So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So Ethereum has just printed a brand new all-time high, firmly above $1,450. So this is such a huge deal because the last time Ethereum saw an all-time high like this was at the top of the bull market in 2017. It was in January 2018, into the 2017 bull run. And, it's been 3 years since we've seen anything surpass this. So this has a lot of people torn, like, is this the top? Is Ether just going to crash down from here, or what's going to happen next? And so that's what we're going to be talking about, what to watch out for after this. And that's one of the reasons I want to jump on and make this updated video for you all. So if you're brand new to this channel, or maybe you've been watching it for a while, I want to make this brand new type of video because we're going full-on bull market mode, and I want to keep you all up to date on what's happening in the space. We're going to be talking about what's happened with Ether, what's happened with the other DeFi projects, and everything you need to know as this space evolves at rapid pace throughout this bull market. All right, so let's talk about Ethereum breaking a new all-time high and what this could mean. So a lot of people think whenever an asset goes to all-time high that it's a big red flag, real warning sign, don't buy here, sell everything because the price is going to tank. So that depends on when the last all-time high was, and lots of other factors too. But if an asset's totally continuing to print all-time highs, and we see that it's been going up like a vertical wall, then you might be right that it could very likely crash at any time. But with something like Ether and all the other conditions that are happening around, that possibility looks a lot less likely, okay? So one of the reasons is because the last all-time high was a long time ago, all right? So typically whenever that happens, you might see touch all-time high and then test it and then come back, right? But you typically won't see a sharp correction downward for an extended period of time and entering into a new bear market like we did in 2018. So nobody's got a crystal ball, but I think that's an unlikely scenario in this case. So there are a few different things that I think could happen. So number one is we could see basically the price of Ether enter into discovery mode, price discovery mode, where it starts printing new all-time highs, where things start to get a little crazy. We saw that relatively recently with Bitcoin after we broke through all-time high of $20,000. Basically, the price went up and up and up and up and up. So you could think about a brand new all-time high that broke a previous historical all-time high as being somewhat bullish. Okay. A bullish indicator. It's kind of counterintuitive because lots of people think about all-time highs being something where the price just tanks immediately. That's not always the case. You have to think about it in terms of context, okay? So that very well could happen with Ether. We could smash through this all-time high, and we could see the price double a lot like we saw with Bitcoin. But there's a few things to think about. Number one, we might need to establish ourselves above all-time high before that happens. So just about a week ago or so, we saw Ether hit all-time high, all right, and then kind of touched it just below it. Last week when we saw 1420 something, it basically touched all-time high and then came back down, and then we tried it again, okay? So I would like to see Ether establish itself above all-time high for a while, but I would likely see the price increase pretty rapidly after this, okay? So another possibility is that it could touch all-time high, come back down, because Bitcoin might get a lot of attention pretty soon, okay? So Bitcoin's kind of been moving sideways for a while and started to gain some steam. So if Bitcoin makes a big move, it could suck a lot of air out of Ether and some of the altcoins. A lot of people have been out there promising for an altcoin season, right? And, if Bitcoin steals the show, then we may not see any of those things. Now, if that happens, I don't think the price of Ether is going to tank and we're going to go back down to $500 or anything like that. Assuming that nothing terrible happens, with the economy, maybe some other massive correction. Nobody's got a crystal ball for sure. But if Bitcoin steals the show in the short term, then it may be a little more challenging for Ether to move up quite as fast. So the other thing to watch out for here is the ETH to BTC ratio. Okay, so this is something that's super important because it basically takes the Ether price and divides it by the Bitcoin price to get this ratio that says how valuable is Ether relative to Bitcoin. So this is something people watch when they're trying to trade crypto markets and say, hey, where should I move? Should I move my Ether into Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera? But it's also something that they track to see Bitcoin's dominance relative to Ether and vice versa, okay? So one reason to track this is people who think that, Ethereum can be the number one cryptocurrency, basically dethrone Bitcoin. They pay attention to this ratio because when it comes up or when it climbs up or when the number gets bigger, that basically means that Ether is becoming more valuable relative to Bitcoin, or that Ether's price is basically appreciating faster than Bitcoin's. So, the ETH BTC ratio has been making a new high, right, since 2018, basically. We passed 0.04, okay? So we saw this like coming up and trying to test these earlier highs, and we've broken out of it. So we broke out 0.04. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So like I said, if Bitcoin sort of sucks the air out of some of this ratio could go back down if ETH decides not to move with it. But this is definitely a ratio to watch out for, because it'll also kind of give you an idea of when ETH's price could be making a big move, right? When we see this ratio creeping up like this and it's building up a pattern, then we could see a lot of momentum carry that to where ETH, makes a big, maybe like 2x move or something like that. If you want to keep track of the ratio for ETH to BTC and kind of play around with it and see what it means, you can go to this website of ratiogang.com. So basically, this is a website that tracks the ETH BTC ratio, and it gives you a few different data points, like where they think the ETH to BTC ratio should be, and also when the flipping will happen. Basically, how expensive Ethereum would have to be in order to flip Bitcoin by market cap, where ETH will be the number one cryptocurrency versus Bitcoin, okay? So you can play around with this slider. They put a value of 0.08 on here. They think this is where the ETH should be relative to Bitcoin. The justification for that is basically the Ethereum network, if everything it can do and everything that's running on top of it will be worth at least half as much as the Bitcoin network. So the whole idea is that that ETH's value should be at least half of Bitcoin's value. And by that measure, ETH is incredibly undervalued, and that it should be up here closer to 0.08, which would be $2,790 per ETH at the current Bitcoin price, okay? If ETH were to flip Bitcoin, then it would need to be $5,578 per ETH if Bitcoin stays the exact same price. So you can go to ratiogang.com to play around with this and like see what the ratio is and like what the ETH price would be and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool website if you're kind of trying to keep track of some of this. And so that's what's going on with the Ethereum price. That's what I think could happen in the short term. You definitely want to watch out for this ETH to BTC ratio, and you want to watch out for what happens with the Bitcoin price in general, because that could, change the direction of things for sure. So make sure you check out the next video that I'm going to release, because I'm going to talk about what I think could happen with the ETH price in the long term. All right. Talk about what could happen in 2021. What could the price of Ether actually realistically do and why, right? Not just a guess, but actually an investment thesis. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on notifications with the bell down below. So this new all-time high is incredibly important for Ethereum because it brings a lot of eyeballs into the space. So like it or not, like blockchain technology, or at least interest in blockchain technology, is highly correlated with the price. So I'm seeing that with this YouTube channel, with my website, dappuniversity.com, everything. Like whenever the price goes up, search engine traffic goes through the roof. I mean, we're seeing that with Google Trends right now. It's one of the reasons this video is getting this YouTube channel is getting so many more views, is when the price goes up, it trickles down to the technology itself. So that's really good for Ethereum, and it's one of the reasons the price is so important, all right? And it's also super important because people who are working in the Ethereum space, who are getting paid in Ether, who are companies who hold Ether, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it helps their businesses. It helps the Ethereum economy. So anybody who depends upon that really benefits from the price of Ether, okay? And I really do think the party's just getting started for all this long term, all right? Like I said, nobody's got a crystal ball. There could be some, big global macro event that ends the party early. But I don't think Ethereum is going away anytime soon. I think it's a really good long-term bet. In fact, I saw this tweet from Andrew Keys yesterday on Twitter saying Ethereum is the technology investment opportunity of the decade of 2020 to 2030, right? And I think he's right? I'm going to be talking about that next video about how, it's really hard to determine how you value cryptocurrencies in the first place. They don't work like stocks. They don't work like equities. But you have to think about them in a different way. And so if Ether really is the reserve asset of a brand new financial institution, brand new financial system that, underpins the value of so many different things with DeFi, decentralized finance. So I think the future for Ethereum is very bright for the technology itself and also the asset. And I think the two are inextricably linked, okay? because basically Ether becomes more valuable the more people use the technology. They have to hold it to pay for gas fees. They're going to use it as a reserve asset for this new financial system. And also the network effect. Basically, the more people use Ethereum, and how that actually has an impact on the price, which we'll be talking about in that next video. Okay, so make sure you subscribe, all that kind of stuff, so that you can see it when it comes out. So that's all I've got for today. Hope you like this new format of video. Like I said, we're entering full-on bull market mode here, where I'm going to give you more regular updates on this space, what's happening with Ether itself, also what's happening in this Ethereum space, the technology, DeFi, all that kind of stuff. So you let me know. Give me some feedback. Do you like this video? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Maybe I'll answer some of your all's questions, all that kind of stuff. I'm getting a lot of questions these days, and this would be a great forum to do some Q&A in these videos. Let me know what you think down below. All right. So if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, and you want to get your hands dirty with it, see how it works from a technical perspective, then how can you get started today? Well, I've helped lots of people with zero coding background, become real world blockchain developers. I've helped people who are coders already transition into blockchain. So you can go to my YouTube homepage and find any of my free tutorials there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. You can try one of those and build your first blockchain application, like get a firsthand experience of how Ethereum works, how DeFi works. All right. If you like those videos and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to go for the throat, take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step from start to finish, build your own real world blockchain application as opposed to like a tutorial, okay? So that you can land your first job, become a freelancer, build your own project. Just sign up over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.